All right, back on Morning Line. Thanks for joining us. James Smallwood with us, president of the Fraternal Order of Police here in Metro Davidson County. Taking your calls or questions about some of the issues facing the Metro Police Department from his perspective as the head of the, I guess you will, the union representing law enforcement here in the city. Let's go next. Let's see, we've got a couple of them, I think. Let's see if I get the right number here. Is this James? Are you there, James?
Yes, sir. Good morning.
Go ahead, James. Good morning to you.
Yes, sir. I agree with the police in 95% of the things they do, but I'm not a perfect citizen, but I'm far from a criminal. There's police officers who do abuse their powers. I was handcuffed and then struck after I was handcuffed, and the police are allowed to change their testimony, what they write down, with no consequences to them, whatever. And it's dealing with the body camera deal, it's needed for, quote, rookies, officers within the first 10-year tenure because of, one thing, anxiousness, anxiety. And when the guy shot the man over here by Old Pearl Cone, I was all for the police till I seen them take the corner and take an offensive attack position.
Okay, let's talk about some of that. I don't know if you want to hit on the first one. I guess the idea from him is sometimes officers might change their story or whatever, and from his perspective, I can understand his body cameras will clarify, even though cameras don't catch everything, whether he did or didn't do, or she did or didn't do something.
Yeah, it's interesting that you mentioned body cameras in that scenario. Oftentimes when body cameras are reviewed in those scenarios, you just see a bunch of scuffling because it's up close.
You can only see so much.
Certainly we'd love for them to capture everything. As it goes for officers changing their statements, once an officer has given an official statement, if it changes to the point where it seems like they're not being truthful, they're automatically terminated. So to say that they're not held accountable for changing their statements, I don't see that, not especially in this department. I don't know about other departments, but I know about Metro Nashville. Yeah,
if you give a statement initially on the interview after something happens, and then you come back a couple days later and change it?
Well, and let's be clear, if it's a minor correction, like, oh, I thought, you know, if it's something minor that's
like the time,
irrelevant,
or something,
then no. But if it's something that shows that you weren't being truthful, then yes, absolutely, it's automatic termination.
Okay, yeah, and yeah, the second point, what was it he was asking us with referring to the body camera aspect of it? And well, we got another call from James. Let's squeeze him in real quick. James, we have another James. Go ahead, James. Are you there, James? I think we had one on too, but I guess we've lost him on that front. So, all right, with regard to the referendum, do you think the referendum will pass if it goes to a vote?
I think by and large, the members of our community support the police and what they do, so we're hopeful that it won't.
Okay, so you think do they fully then, I guess you guys are trying to do what you can to get out your point of view on why you don't think it's necessarily needed. Is your argument more that you're concerned it'll take some due process out of the hands of I don't know, of however it is when an officer is being looked at, or is it that the cost, and you're concerned about that?
Well, it's a little bit of both. I mean, Metro employees have certain rights when it comes to discipline, and we feel like this is going to take those due process rights away from our police officers. It's the cost. It's the redundancy of a program. It's sometimes how long it's going to take. It's going to delay a already long disciplinary process for both the officer and a victim. Or complainant rather. So there's a lot of different aspects to look at this and say this is why this isn't a good thing for us. And by us, I mean Nashville
as a whole, for the entire city.
Yeah.
All right, let's take one more call. We'll see. Someone just came in. Let's go. Go ahead, caller on line 4. Are you there? Go ahead, caller. These people have got to get it together. Are you there, caller? All right, let's try line 2. Are you there, caller? Hello, caller, on line, is this 4 or 2? Are you there, caller? All right, well, we're done with calls. I don't know what the problem is with all of those folks. Maybe it's our phone that's messed up. There we go. All right, so just to hit on it. So as far as the situation of law enforcement, the being more dangerous than ever before, do you see, what's it going to take to change that? You said just the community not being okay with it happening. I don't get the sense. I think by and large most people support law enforcement.
Sure, I think like I said a few minutes ago, the majority of the community supports law enforcement, but they remain silent on the topic. And that's something that, unfortunately, we need to change. Law enforcement professionals wake up every day, and they put their badge on, their gun on, their bulletproof vest on, and they go to work, and they put their lives on the line for this community every single day. They put everything they have on the line to protect this community and provide a safe and peaceful Nashville. Right. We don't ask much from the community other than to allow us to do our jobs and support us. Now we need that support to be a little bit more vocal, I think. It's time for the community to stand up and say, no, the police officers are doing a difficult job. They're doing the right job. And when we're wrong, we're held accountable. And I believe it's to a tone of 20 to 22% more than any other department in the nation.
And I just remembered the second follow-up question from that last caller, just referring again to the video in the situation with Mr. Hambrick, where the officer did, you know, as you said, perceived the danger because he had the weapon, but squared up to shoot. Can you clarify why he would have done something like that in that instance? Well,
sure. You don't want somebody who's running at full speed firing a weapon that presents a danger to the community for various different reasons, whether just on its face it creates a high level of inaccuracy.
Now, if the argument was at that point, all right, he's ahead of me, he hasn't pointed the gun at me yet, I'm coming around the corner, we pretty much know who he is, why not just let him go and pick him up later?
Well, there's something called the greater danger. Okay. And if you allow somebody who is a felon, who has a long rap sheet of carrying weapons and robberies, they're a danger to the public. And there's either us apprehending those individuals or allowing those individuals to go and do more danger to the community. We can't just say, all right, we didn't catch him and he's got a gun and it's dangerous for us, we're going to give up and catch him later. We know he's dangerous. We know he's dangerous to the community. It's our job to apprehend that danger and protect the city. Okay,
I see that. And I don't mean that you would just let him go at that point. I guess you would have to determine whether or not there was danger involved in that moment, either by him or if this officer had fired perhaps and missed, if there was anyone in the foreground there that could have. I mean, all those are decisions having to be made in a split second.
And we're months later making 2020 decisions.
Of course. I mean, that's not fair, and it's very hard to do, and that's where you just hope training kicks in. And now again, it's Officer Lippert, or in this case, not Lippert, Delkey, 25 years old. You know, still kind of young, but he had gone through all the training. This is stuff you guys deal with in the academy, right?
He went through his training, he relied on his training, and he did what he was supposed to.
How's he doing?
Well, it's a struggle anytime you have to be. I can't speak for exactly how he's doing because I've not been in his shoes, but certainly anytime you have to take the life of another, regardless of the circumstances, that's a struggle. Sure. I mean, we're all human beings.
And Lippert back on the job?
Lippert has been assigned to the records division and has not been placed back to full duty for some reason.
For now, do you think he should be or no?
Well, we think the records division is a demoralizing position, and we've asked for him to be placed somewhere different, and that's not been heard.
But so it wasn't his choice to be put there.
Not.
Would he prefer to be back out on patrol?
Well, we don't think that right now, with the way the community is, we don't think putting him back on the streets is probably the right thing, but there are other internal positions he could carry and still be doing the function of a police officer.
Instead of in records at this point. Interesting. All right, well, listen, we'll see how all this plays out. There's so much to talk about. We had some interesting phone calls today on all of this. But, yeah, what you guys deal with is a tough thing, you know, and there's a lot of issues. I really appreciate you coming on this morning.
Thank you.
Coming on, asking the questions. And as I said, it's Fraternal Order of Police here in Metro Davidson County. We'll have others with others points of view on tomorrow or later this week as well, so we cover all our bases. Wanted to give everyone an individual show. But thank you again for coming on.
Absolutely.
We'll talk some more. I'll take a break. Have a programming note right after this. Stay with us. Great. Thank you again.